Okay, so here we go. Basically, you can see I'm trying to hold this still, sorry. To try and show you guys what I'm trying to do, I kind of have to hold this without a tripod. And I'm trying to show you where my hand height is compared to how tall this tomato plant is. Now, if you see it, I mean, it looks good, right? This is really healthy. There's one tomato plant here. There's another one here. There's one here, one there, and one there. So there's basically 5 here. Okay, and what I'm trying to do is give you an idea of what healthy tomato plants and healthy gardening look like. To give you an idea, my waist is approximately here. Okay, about here. I'm maybe 5'9". Okay, with my waist here, that means this tomato plant and the others around it, they're about 3.5 feet high. Some of them are close to 4 feet high. So what I'm trying to do here is show you the benefits of what it looks like when you've got a really good watering schedule on your garden. And this is something that people struggle with as gardeners. Like, how often should I be watering? And usually what the tendency is to try and leave the hose on as much as you can to compensate for not really being sure about that. But I'm going to talk to you about how you can tell. And this will help you to reduce how much you're watering and then spread it out. So basically, okay, you look at the ground here. Look how barren that is. Okay, this is the ground. This isn't weeded. Okay, this is because in the southwest climate, it's really hot, it's dry, there's very little water. We have to be exceptionally careful with what we do with the water out here. And you can see that I've gone into this on other videos, how you put down wood chips, you put down cardboard, you put down things under and around the plants to keep the plants from getting hot in the roots, and this is also to keep them from getting dehydrated. Now, if you do this, even if your plants can work it and survive without it, they'll grow faster because what's happening is less water evaporates into the air and more water gets into the plants. Okay, more water gets into the fruit too, and this is what you want. So you want to be saving your cardboard and your wood scrap or wood bits, anything like that. And then, if you've got a lot of garden plants, you put them around them. But you need enough for a good sized garden. I mean, think about it. How many plants do you have? Okay, and you got to times that by how much scrap they need. That's how many total you're going to need a lot of that stuff. So you make like a stash to put all that in. What I'm also going to show you here, I mean, you can see, okay, see the wet spots, the mud. I just barely finished watering maybe 10 minutes ago, and you can see that you can tell that the moisture's still in the ground. Well, what you can do is you set a timer after you water and you keep track of how long it takes for the water to disappear underneath these, and that's how you know how often you can water. See, you just watch what's going on in the ground. It sounds simple, right? Well, people have this illusion that you're supposed to water once a day. You're not going to have hardly any fruit or vegetables if you only water once a day. You need to be able to water enough that um, that they have more chance to grow. And the other thing when you water is you don't water more than the plant can handle. For example, if you've got really tiny baby plants, there's no point in putting 5 gallons all in that one spot. You only put down as much as they can absorb, then you come back and watch for when it's evaporating, and then you go again. Ideally, you can water 3 or 4 times a day. You can even water 5 times a day. You're not watering a lot, and you're not trying to go over your water share. but you only water enough that they can absorb. It won't do any good to waste water. And like way back in the day, in the farmer's day, what they did is they had water shares, and they would pay an acre feet to who was in charge of their water to basically have a share. And you had an assigned watering day. You could not go over or past watering when it wasn't your day, because it was another farmer's turn to water. Okay, and they'd have water masters to keep track of it. And if you got caught stealing water, it was bad, especially if you were in these areas that didn't have a lot of water. And what had happened is sometimes people would be watering at night when it wasn't their turn. You see, they'd water at maybe 3 or 4 in the morning. They'd be stealing the neighbor's water, and they'd hope to not get caught. But both my grandparents were, on both sides, were farmers, and they caught people stealing from their water shares. And it's a big deal if you're in places like the Southwest, where you don't have a lot of water, and what you do have in the water, it's from the snowpack in the mountains, and it comes down into the reservoirs. Okay, but where I'm going with this, so you don't water a lot. Okay, what you're trying to do in an ideal water scheme, where one person would normally water once a day and they'd leave it on for whatever number of minutes, you're taking that and you are dividing it up into 3 or 4 times a day. So you're not actually wasting a lot of, you're not using a lot of extra water. You're dividing it up because the plants can only absorb so much anyway. And if you look at this thing is, you know, it's 3.5 feet high. These others here, same deal. This is what you want. You want them in a hedge like this. See how they're all shading each other. Now some people are going to say, oh, it looks like a mess, but that's what you want because you're not losing the water from the evaporation.